In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with WordPress. It's assumed that you already have a domain name, a hosting account, and WordPress installed. If this is not the case, then you may want to first watch another video that I have which will help you get started with those things. There is a link to it in the video description. In this video, I'll be using WordPress version 5.7.2. So what is WordPress? WordPress is an open source content management system. It allows you to make a website without needing to know how to program. With WordPress, you select the look and functionality of your website and add the content. WordPress handles the nitty-gritty details. To set up WordPress, you need to log in. The address of the login page is your domain name followed by /wp-login.php. It's a good idea to bookmark this page. After logging in, you're taken to the WordPress user interface, which is used to customize WordPress and to add content. The visitors to your site don't see this interface. What I'm going to do in this video is to start by showing you some of the initial WordPress settings that I like to use. Then we'll dive right in and I'll show you how to get started actually using WordPress. WordPress has a lot of settings that you can customize, and for most of these settings, I use the defaults. What I'll do now is show you some of the settings where I prefer to use something other than the defaults. Let's start in the settings menu by selecting General. Here you can set your site title and tagline. Your WordPress theme will determine how these are displayed on your site. I'll be talking more about themes later. When you're done making your changes, click the Save Changes button. When a visitor to your site looks at a post, the name of the author is generally shown. Here is a sample post that was installed with WordPress, and the author name is here. If you've created your post while logged in as an administrator, then by default, the administrator username will be used for the author name. For security reasons, it's better if you keep your administrator username private. So we're going to change the author name. To do that, from the user menu, select Profile. The display name publicly as name is what you will see displayed as the author name on web post. Your choices for this name come from the drop-down menu. Currently, there is only one choice, and it's the administrator username. In order to have more choices, we need to add a first and last name or change the nickname. I'm just going to change the nickname. Now I can select the nickname for display name publicly as. This will now be used for the author name. After making any changes on this page, click the Update Profile button. I'll refresh this post, and now the author name matches the nickname. Back on the profile page, there is a button that lets you set a new password. It's important to have a good, strong password to keep your WordPress site secure. WordPress will generate a new password when you click this button, or you can type in your own. If you change it, then be sure to click the Update Profile button. I'm going to keep the password that I already had, so I'm not going to click the Update button. Security is an important aspect of WordPress. If you would like to learn more things that you can do to make it harder for hackers to hack your WordPress site, then you can watch my WordPress Security video. I put a link to it in the video description. Next, we're going to set up the permalinks for WordPress. Permalinks are the addresses that will be used for the different pieces of content on your WordPress site. So from the Settings menu, select Permalinks. By default, Plain is selected. That means that if you create a post, the address of that post will be the name of your website followed by something like this. A very popular option, and the one that I'll be using, is Post Name. This option follows the name of your website with the post name. So if I had a post titled Hello World, then the address to that post would look like this. When you're done with the changes, don't forget to click the Save button. We're done with the initial WordPress settings. As I mentioned earlier, visitors to your site don't see this interface. If someone were to visit this site right now, they would see this Coming Soon page. My web host provider for this site is Bluehost, and this Coming Soon page was automatically set up by them when WordPress was installed. If you're not using Bluehost, then you may or may not have a Coming Soon page. Bluehost also included this Bluehost plugin that allows me to, among other things, disable the Coming Soon page and make the site go live. A Coming Soon page is a nice way to prevent visitors from seeing your site before it's ready, but you still need a way to look at it while you're working on it. You can do that from this menu that looks like a house by selecting Visit Site. I want to open it in a new tab, so I'll right-click it. When the site goes live, this is what the visitors will see with the exception of this menu bar. This menu bar is visible to me because I'm logged into WordPress. Visitors don't see it. Now we're going to look at how to actually use WordPress. I'll introduce you to themes, plugins, posts, pages, menus, and widgets. We'll start with themes. When you make a WordPress website, you'll select a theme which will set the look and feel of your website. You can select from a large collection of free themes, or you can purchase a premium theme. It's also common for free themes to have paid upgrades. To manage your themes, go to the Appearance menu and select Themes. These are the themes that are currently installed. You can have more than one theme installed, but only one of them will be active at any given time. If you hover your mouse over one of the inactive themes, you'll see a Theme Details button, an Activate button, and a Live Preview button. If you click the Theme Details button, you can learn some information about the theme. This is also where you can delete the theme. If you click the Live Preview button, you can see what this theme will look like with your content. Once you've added content to your site, added some menus, and maybe added a header image, this feature becomes very useful for comparing themes. At the bottom, you can see what it will look like on a PC, or a tablet, or a mobile phone. The visitors to your site will not see this unless you activate the theme. You can click this X to exit the live preview. If you click the Activate button, then the theme will become your new active theme. We can also add new themes. To get a new theme, click here. The WordPress.org themes are free, but many of them offer a paid upgrade. There is a large selection of themes, and you can sort them by clicking on a category. You can also use the feature filter. Here are some popular themes. If you hover your mouse over one of the themes, you'll see that we have similar but different buttons as compared with the installed themes. These two buttons do basically the same thing, which is to give you information about the theme along with a preview. But this is not a live preview like we saw before, which means that it is not using our content. If we were to install this theme, then we could do a live preview. As before, you can click the X to exit the preview. Click this button if you want to install the theme, which is what I'm going to do. Now that it's installed, I can see a live preview, or I can activate it if I want to use it as my theme, which is what I'm going to do. Once you've installed your theme and it's active, you'll have a Customize button. When you click it, you'll see the customizations that are available. The things that can be customized are controlled by the theme itself. Some themes have a lot of custom settings, while others have very few. I'm not going to go through all of these, but as an example, if I open Header Media, I can upload my own image to replace this one. I'm going to select an image. It will let me crop the image, but I'm going to skip this. This theme will also allow me to upload a header video, which I'm not going to do. After making changes, click the Publish button. If you look at the home page settings, you can choose your latest post or a static page. I'm going to choose your latest post and then click Publish. Now let's see what the home page looks like. I'll click our sample post to see what that looks like. Now let's look at plugins. If you want to add additional functionality to your website, then you can use plugins to do that. For example, there are plugins that can help with search engine optimization, or that can help you build a contact form, or that can help you with website security. And like themes, there is a large selection of free plugins as well as premium plugins that you can purchase, and free plugins with paid upgrades. To view any currently installed plugins, go to the Plugins menu and select Installed Plugins. Here you can see what plugins are installed along with a brief description. In order for your website to gain the functionality that the plugin provides, the plugin must be activated. If it's not activated, you'll see a link to activate it. When a plugin is active, there should be a link to deactivate it. Plugins that are not active should also have a link to delete it. To find and install a new plugin, from the Plugins menu, select Add New. You can sort them by clicking on a category, or you can search for one. Here are some popular plugins. This is a plugin that can help you with SEO. You can see the rating here along with the number of active installations. This will tell you when it was last updated and if it's compatible with your version of WordPress. You can get more details by clicking here. To install it, click the Install Now button. To activate it, click the Activate button. This plugin adds a new SEO menu. To deactivate it, click Deactivate. When you deactivate a plugin, it doesn't delete it, it's just not active anymore. To delete a plugin, it must first be inactive, and then you can click Delete. Before we go on to the next topic, I want to mention that while themes and plugins are very useful, they are also the source of a lot of security issues. That's because sometimes they can contain malicious code, and sometimes they may contain a security weakness that, while not malicious, a hacker is able to take advantage of. My WordPress security video offers some guidelines for themes and plugins. You can find a link to it in the video description. Now let's look at posts and pages. These are what you use to add content to your website. You can use either one or both. So what's the difference? Posts have a time element associated with them. It's common for your home page to contain links to your post in reverse chronological order, which are newer posts first. So a visitor to your site can find your content based on when it was published. This would work well for sites like a news site or a blog. Posts can also have categories associated with them. So for example, if you have a site that specializes in recent technology, you may have a category for robotics and another for communications. A visitor to your site could then select robotics and find all the posts in that category. Pages, on the other hand, are not time-dependent and don't have categories associated with them. Visitors to your site would typically find your pages using the site navigation menus. Examples are an About page or a privacy policy page. Let's look at posts first, and then we'll look at pages. To see the posts that are on a website, go to the Post menu and select All Posts. This is a sample post that was added when WordPress was installed. You can click the screen options to customize what's displayed. If you hover over a post, you'll see some menus. To edit the post, you can either select Edit or Quick Edit. If you select Quick Edit, then you can change some general information about the post. If you click Edit, you can edit your content. The newer versions of WordPress use a block-based editor. Many types of blocks are available, including paragraph, image, and video blocks. Each block has its own set of options that are specific to the type of block that it is. This text is a paragraph block. If I click it, the toolbar for this block will be displayed. Each block has a toolbar, a block settings sidebar, and the block content. The things that you can do with the toolbar and sidebar will vary depending on what type of block it is. For example, with this type of block, you can change the text color and the background color. And what's nice is that you'll get a message if the color combination that you choose could be hard for people to read. So I'll change the background color, and now the message goes away. You can also choose a custom color or clear your selections. With a paragraph block, one of the things that you can do with the toolbar is to add a link. To do that, just select some text, click the link button, add a URL, decide if you want the page to open in a new tab, and click the Submit button. To see what your changes will look like, click the Preview button and select Preview in New tab. Now I can test my link. If you're happy with your changes, click the Update button. When you're done editing, you can click the W to return to the menus. Now let's add a new post and look at some of the different types of blocks. So from the Post menu, select Add New. The first thing that I'll do is to add a title. At the time this video was made, the title is not a block and its placement is determined by the theme. So even though it's selected, you won't see a block toolbar, and if you click on block in the sidebar, it will say no block selected. Now I'll click below the title and type some text. This is a paragraph block, and when I click here, similar block types are displayed that I can transform it into. I'm going to transform it into a heading block. You can change the heading level here, and I'm going to keep it at level 2. To add another paragraph block, you can just click down here and start typing. Or to add a different kind of block, click this plus button for a short list of options, or click the plus button up here for a much larger list of options. If you hover your mouse over a selection, you can see a sample and a description of the block. I'm going to add an image block. You have different methods available to add your image. I'm going to upload one. You can add alternative text here for the photo. You can also round the corners. Under the image, you can add a caption if you'd like. An interesting thing that you can do from the toolbar is to add text over the image. When you click the A, it will convert the image block into a cover block. Now you can add text. I'll paste in some text here. This is actually 3 blocks: a paragraph block, another paragraph block, and a cover block. If you select the cover block, you have the option of making it a fixed background. When you do that, the image doesn't move when you scroll the page. If I disable fixed background, then the image does move with the page. To delete a block, click the Options button and select Remove Block. I'll show you another interesting block. I'm going to put it down here. This is called the Media and Text block. It lets you put media, for example an image or video, on the side of some text. So I'll add an image. Then I'll add alternative text. Here you can choose to put the image on the left or the right. Then you can add text on the side. I'll just paste some in. If you click the photo, you can change its size. This is what it looks like if I add another media and text block below it with the photo on the other side. If you want to move a block, you can do that by using these arrows. Or you can click here and drag it. A good way to learn about the different blocks is to just try them. Add a block and then look at the options that are available in the toolbar and sidebar. Next, let's look at some options that apply to the whole post. So click on Post in the sidebar. Here you can select if you want your post to be visible to the public, or private, or password protected. When you're ready to publish your post, you can have it published right away or select a time and date. Here you can select a post format that your theme can use to format and style your post. By default, your post will be listed on the home page in reverse chronological order with the newest post at the top. If you want this post to always be at the top, then add a check mark next to Stick to the top of the blog. If you've set up your permalinks to use the name of your post as part of the URL, then you will have the option to change the URL slug. The slug will become part of your URL, and by default, it's based on the title of your post. So using this slug, this is what the full URL will look like. This is where you can select categories for your post. You can use one or more existing categories or add a new one. This is currently the only existing category. Categories are used to group your post into different general topics, and you can even make subcategories. To add a category, click here and type in a name. You can make it a subcategory by selecting an existing category here. If you don't select an existing category, then the new category that you type will be a top-level category. Now just click the Add New Category button. Next, you can select the categories that you want to use. When a visitor to your site clicks on a category, the post within that category will be displayed. You can also use tags to describe specific things about your post. You can select existing tags or add new ones. I'll add a couple of new tags. You can enter more than one at a time if you separate them with commas. Here you can set a featured image, and so I'll add one. Your theme will determine how to use this image. It's common for the theme to display the featured image on the home page like a thumbnail image for the post. If we open the post, this theme, which is called 2017, displays the image below the header image. If we were using the Inspiro theme, by default in the post, the featured image is shown in place of the header image. If we're using the Signify Dark theme, by default the featured image is not shown on the post at all, but it is still used on the home page as a thumbnail image. I'm going to remove the featured image for this post. You can add an optional excerpt here. An excerpt might be shown on search results or an archive. Depending on your theme, it might be shown on your home page. In the discussion section, you choose whether you want to allow comments or pingbacks and trackbacks. If you're not finished with a post and you want to come back later to work on it, you can click Save Draft. When you're finished and ready to publish, just click the Publish button, confirm some settings, and click Publish. I'll click here to jump out of the editor. You can still make changes to a post after publishing it. Just click Edit, make your changes, then click Update. If you want to unpublish a post, click Switch to Draft. Now let's look at pages. When I click the Pages menu, you'll see a list of the pages. There's a privacy policy page that's not published and some other sample pages that are published. We're going to make a new page, so from the Pages menu, select Add New. You add content to it the same as with a post. So I'll add a title and then a paragraph. Next, let's look at some of the options that apply to the whole page. So click on Page in the sidebar. Just like a post, a page has settings for visibility, when to publish, permalink, featured image, and discussion. But there are no settings for categories, tags, or an excerpt. One difference between posts and pages are how they are typically found on your site. Your newest posts are generally listed first on your home page, so you can look for posts chronologically. Posts are also part of categories, so you can look for them that way. Pages, on the other hand, usually don't have a time element associated with them, and they're not part of categories. Pages are generally listed in your site navigation menu. This is typically how posts and pages work, but there are plugins that can change the behavior. Pages have page attributes settings. Settings here include parent page and order. Some themes will also have template settings that give you some layout options. Pages can be organized into hierarchies by designating them as parent and child pages. A parent page is at the top and child page is below it. If we don't select a parent page, then this page will be a new parent page. If we select an existing page like this About page, then this page will become a child page of it. Since we've set up our permalinks to use the name of the post as part of the URL, the address has the About page followed by our new child page. With some themes, in the navigation menu, the new child page will automatically be added as a submenu item under the parent page. If you have multiple child pages under the same parent page, then you can control the order that they appear by setting the order. Use one for the page that you want to be first, two for the second, and so on. With some themes, like the one I'm using right now, submenus are not added automatically. However, we can add them manually, and I'll show you how to do that. But before I leave this page, I'm going to publish it. Now let's shift our focus to menus. From the Appearance menu, select Menus. You can have multiple sets of menus, and you choose which one to edit from this drop-down menu. I'm going to select the top menu, then I need to click Select. You can create a new menu by clicking here. This is the menu structure of our selected menu, and we currently have these menu items. The order of these links is the same order that they will appear on your website. You can change the order by dragging them. New menu items are added from here. Your pages are listed here, your post here, you can make custom links here, and your categories are listed here. I'm going to look at the pages to find our new child page. It's right here, and so I'll select it and click the Add to Menu button. It was added right here. Since this is a child of the About page, I'm going to drag it under the About page and offset it to the right. By offsetting it, it will become a submenu item. The Display Location section lets you select where the menu will be displayed, and the options here are determined by your theme. This will be a top menu. For these changes to take effect, you need to click the Save Menu button. Now if I look at the website, we have a menu for the About page and a submenu item for our new page. Now let's look at widgets. If we look at the website, you'll see a Find Us section, a Search section, and an About This Site section. These are widgets. To control which widgets are used and where they're located, go to the Appearance menu and open the Widgets section. Here you'll find the available widgets. WordPress comes standard with some widgets, and some plugins will add even more. The WordPress theme determines the possible locations for the widgets. Themes don't have to support widgets, but they typically do. For this theme, widgets can be located in the blog sidebar or the two footer areas. You can change their order by dragging them. To add a widget, just drag it to where you want it to be located. You can also customize it, but the available options will vary depending on the widget. You can also delete a widget from here. If we refresh the website, you'll see that the Search widget is now on top, and we now have a Categories widget. When you're done setting up your website and you're ready for it to go live, you need to turn off the Coming Soon page. That's of course assuming that you have a Coming Soon page. The method for turning it off will vary depending on how it was added. In my case, I'm using Bluehost hosting along with the Bluehost plugin. So what I need to do is to select Settings from the Bluehost menu and then click this button. Now my website is live. Well, we're just about done, but before I conclude this video, I want to mention a few things. A page that you should look into adding to your website is a privacy policy page. In many cases, it's even legally required. You should also look into adding a Terms of Service or Terms of Use page. I won't be covering these pages in this video other than to suggest that you do some research into them. Another topic that I didn't cover is the use of comments. If you're going to use them, then you might want to do some research to learn some best practices for managing comments. This might include things like dealing with spam. Under the Settings menu in the Discussion section, there are a lot of settings related to comments. You'll also want to learn how comments will affect your privacy policy and terms of service notifications. And finally, you don't want your WordPress website to be an easy target for hackers, so I would suggest that you watch a video on the topic of WordPress security. I put a link in the video description. Well, we've covered a lot in this video, and I hope it helps you get off to a good start with WordPress. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe and leave a comment.